There are four mainstream types of dragons. So that's referring to body type and or behavior and or certain traits. All affect the anatomy. So that's the wyvern or wyvern, the western dragon, which is, the traditional dragon, the eastern dragon, which is typically classed as the Chinese sort of dragons, but is other types, and the sea dragon. Please keep in mind that dragons are fantasy, meaning there's a lot up to interpretation. That's the wonderful thing about them. So basically, when it comes to dragons, there are ways of telling the difference between the inspired and or different ones. So that's between the wyvern, the western dragon, the eastern dragon, and the sea dragon. So wyverns are usually have 2 feet and 2 wings, 4 limbs. They usually stand on their back legs and commonly have a back system that's similar to a velociraptor in Jurassic Park. The wyvern is usually considered to have more of a lizard-like head, more triangular, with sharper nose and things like that. For the western dragon, it's more like, say, toothless, toothless, because they've got 4 smaller limbs and then 2 wings on top. They usually have longer necks as well and things like that. The western dragons usually have a very snagglegaster sort of look. It's got a hook jaw usually. They've got long teeth, fangs. They usually almost have like a crown of horns and 2 large ones. The eastern dragon, these are like the Chinese dragons. They've got a squarer head. They've also got old reptilian style hips, unlike the others which have more new mammalian or avian species type of hips. It's where the hips are spaced outward like a crocodile. They are also long and snake-like, commonly have long whiskers instead of any type of horns. The sea dragon, on the other hand, is usually very similar to the eastern dragon, except with flippers and sometimes smaller wings. They also don't have a square head, and they usually have fins and stuff like that. The one that we're showing is more plesiosaur-like, and that is for many reasons, just so there's many difference. No, that's not a plesiosaur. That's called propaganda for Loch Ness. This is very Cryptocleidos. That's a fish. Yeah, the giant sea dragons, weedy sea dragons, eastern sea dragons, Florida Gulf sea dragons, great sea dragons, barrier sea dragons. I can go more. That is the sort of basics of those 4 types of dragons. It is a common thing when people are listing types of dragons to include the Quetzalcoatl, or Quetzalcoatl, also known as a feathered serpent. The Quetzalcoatl, in particular, is the one. It's the most commonly known in North America, and it's from the Mayan culture. Also, we've got a picture of Norse Jormungandr here. That's how you pronounce it, by the way. Jormungandr or Jormungandr. Both work. And those are both sea serpents. The big things that I see is, even though one of them has wings, they don't have conventional legs, and they don't share some of the same things, some of the same sort of expressions as in guardians or anything like that. Although that is sort of the basics of this. There are plenty of different things, such as differences between cultural things, difference between why dragons are there. Sometimes they're just dinosaurs, sometimes they're just creatures, sometimes they're protectors, sometimes they're all these different things, but they all have the same sort of basic anatomy. But keep in mind that sea serpents are very, very different. Feathered serpents are different. Serpents are not dragons. The Greek mythology of salamanders, those are also not dragons, and things like that. Modern day mythology or modern day stories is also one of those amazing things, such as something like Ukrainian iron bellies or Romanian ridgebacks from Harry Potter. All the ones from How to Train Your Dragon. Those are dragons. They're not just traditional dragons. Although that being said, the one that Astrid rides is based off of Wyvern, and as I said, Toothless is based off of a Western dragon.